Supporting Forest should come with a health warning on the box because my God, did I age yesterday. But what a performance, what a win. No, we drew, but you know what I mean. That was how we play. Welcome to my match reaction. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to 1152. Forest 2. Make sure you've liked, hyped and subscribed, and let me know who your man of the match was, because there was some solid performances yesterday. Coming up, I want to talk about the manager. I want to talk about certain players that are flourishing under this manager. And I just want to talk about what next, because we have to build on this momentum. I know we didn't win. I know it was a draw. I know West Ham won and closed the gap. But I just feel, I've just got this feeling now in me that if we can go and beat Fulham, if we can go and beat Spurs, beat Midtjylland as well, I just feel maybe finally we'll get our moment of the season where things are clicking into gear and we can start to build some momentum. And don't get me wrong, I'm not deluded. I know we've had plenty of false dawns this season. But as Marinakis said, at the end of the day, we always win. Check out the merch store, scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Look, I want to start with Pereira. Now, I really like Pereira. I'm on the record saying I think in the summer we survive win the Europa League. He's probably going to go. He's not a long-term kind of manager. He averages about 18 months at the club. Let's see where we are with Marco Silva and everything. But those are conversations for the summer. Right now, I really like what he's doing. He knows what he needs to say, and he's saying the right thing at the right time. He knows how to motivate these players. He knows how to get them on side. And most importantly, he has tactics, which we didn't see under Ange, which we didn't see under Sean Dyche. What he set up yesterday was exactly how I was hoping Forest were going to set up. Forest went defensive, okay? It was a 3-4-1-1, or you can call it a 3-4-2-1 or whatever you want to call it, right? But he set up defensively. And it's something we saw Nuno doing a lot last season and the season before, where he would set up defensively, hit on the counter-attack for us to take a 1-goal lead, and then we could hold out for a 1-0 win. Okay, it's not that simple, but you get what I'm saying. Now, where we saw Nuno struggling was if we went behind in games. Then suddenly there wasn't really the plan B. It was like, oh crap, we were meant to hold out for a clean sheet, hit the team on the counter-attack, and now what do we do? And that's where we fell off last season. With Pereira, you saw he talked about half-time. He said in his post-match interview, he said, just break that first press when we win the ball in our half and you will find space. And he's exactly right in what he's saying. And most importantly, we're seeing Ola Aina, for me, bombing down that wing. Ola Aina and Nico Williams, I keep reiterating, are going to be the most important players in this setup once we get going, once we're playing teams where we can win, you know, a Fulham, a Spurs and everything else. On the transition, they're going to be so important. Ola Aina in the first half, there was one instant, I think I said about it in the player ratings, where I feel he should have gone on the outside, used his pace, used his width, because he's a very good crosser of the ball. As back-to-back games now, we've seen him cross the ball in and we've been able to get a goal. And he needs to do more of that. And then the same with Nico Williams as well. I'm really excited for this Midtjylland and Fulham game to see Pereira stick to the back three. I like this formation. I think people underestimate a back three. People think it's a defensive style formation. It's not. If you use the fullbacks correctly, it works. And also, if you release the centre back in terms of Murillo, that's going to work as well because you've got a two-man cover. And then you get those options like we saw yesterday with Semenyo, where Cunha was doubling up with Einar and kind of choking him out on the right-hand side. And I want to talk about Cunha because this links back to Pereira. What I love the most about what Pereira's done, he's come in and he said, Luca, dud. Ndoye, dud. Backward, dud. Morato, dud. So on and so forth. And he's looked at Cunha, he's like, why has no one used him? Why has no one used this guy? He's over 6 foot tall, strong, quick on the ball as well, decent at passing. And he must have been thinking, how has this talent just been sitting there unused for so long? And he's put him in a system that works for him. And that's what I like about him. Horses for courses, players in their right position, good balance in terms of defensive actions and attacking actions. There's so much to like about Pereira. I would love this to work long term, but I don't know if it does. Look, let's cross that bridge when we get there. So I really like what he's done. I love how he's praising the players after the game and talking about their talent and their character and everything like that. Look, I don't agree with him fully on that, but these are the things that some of these players will want to hear because of their egos, because we've seen how they throw their toys out the pram. He's playing the hand that he's dealt with, and he's playing it very well. Now, we have to get the points on the board. There's no two ways about it. We're outside the bottom three on goal difference alone, and subject to what happens tonight with Crystal Palace and Spurs, there could be a 4-point gap to Spurs. But they've got Liverpool next, then we play them. If Palace can do us a favour and beat Spurs, and then we can go and beat Fulham and Spurs and shove that team into the bottom three, oh my God, and then go take their trophy from there. Okay, now I'm getting way ahead of myself. But I'm really hyped up about that performance. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I've seen it so many times this season. And I'm frustrated as well because I look at some of those performances yesterday and I think to myself, where the hell have you boys been all season? This team should not be 17th in the league. This team should be in and around the top 10. This team should be comfortably walking towards a semis or a final of the Europa League. I really am disappointed with some of those players that we've seen week in, week out. But a player that I'm really loving again is Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't even think he's had his best game yesterday in the last kind of 4 games of Pereira. But what he did was influential at the right times. His goal was cheeky. It was fantastic. A flick and a trick that finally pays off. Beautiful to see. His cut pass across the pitch to Anderson to help with the setup of that second goal. You know, his attitude, his work rates and everything. He's kicking on under Pereira, and I think he's finding a bit of freedom in the style of play. If you look at the build-up to the goal, where he was in the position between the lines in that pocket to receive the ball for the counter-attack, that's purposely set up by Pereira because Man City would overcommit those numbers. And just in general, there's so many good signs. There's a mix for me of Nuno ball defensively. I know we made mistakes. I'm not happy with the first goal. I think the 2 centre-backs, and I think it was Milenkovic and Cunha, were too deep, which allowed this space between the lines. And it meant they couldn't react in time. They needed to be pushed up and not allowing likes of Semenyo to take the touch. But I'm sure Pereira will address this. And the other big issue, still defensively from corners, no one's protecting Sells well enough. And Sells needs to come off his line more and demand that 6-yard box. I still think it's hard with Sells because he pulled off some great saves yesterday. And let's be honest, Man City didn't create many clear-cut chances. I just like Ortega's distribution and the way he commands his box a bit better. But at the moment, the goalkeeper, I think, is the least of our problems. We started scoring goals yesterday. We've seen when these players go on the front foot, they can create. But now we've got to take this into the next 3 games. Midtjylland, Fulham, Midtjylland technically again, and Spurs. This is it, guys. There's no more kick the can down the road. Our finish to this season is horrific. Newcastle, boring mouth, Man United, I can't remember, Chelsea, I think, something like that. This next 2 weeks makes or breaks our season, both in the Europa League and in the league. If we can get these points on the board, if we can build on this momentum, I guarantee you the players are walking away from that game thinking they won it. We could have won it if Yates bloody didn't have that 50p head, man, seriously. But I was just impressed. Even players like Taiwo impressed me, the way he won that corner, his physicality and everything like that. But we got to kick on. We got to be on the front foot against Fulham. Pereira's got to stick to a similar formation. I'd like to see against Fulham a 3-4-2-1, a 3-4-2-1, yeah, and then kick on from that. But it's hard being a Forest fan. It really is. The stress they put us through. As I said at the start of the video, it should come with a health warning. Grumpy Old Reds will be Friday night because Spurs are playing tonight. So let's see what happens there. Palace, check your emails. There's a good luck message from me in there. Go do it, boys. Go do it. And let's get this Spurs team relegated. Make sure you've liked. Make sure you've subscribed. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.